how to trade stocks risk-free. I get it. That sounds like maybe it's clickbait, but it's not. And not only is it not clickbait, I'm not going to sit here and just talk in theory about it. I'm going to use a real life example of it. And really, when you stop and think about it, that is the best position possible, whether you're trading or investing or doing both. When you can have yourself in a location where you're still making money, but you don't have any risk of losing money, well, that's a pretty fascinating spot to be in, and it's totally legitimate and it's totally possible. Like I was saying, I'm going to use some real life examples here, and I'm going to use the camera guy in the clay trader community. He is known as IT Nate. But so if I talk at you, I'm really talking to him. I think I have the details, but I want to make sure that I don't misquote anything. But we'll put up screenshots too. So how does this all work? How can you make a risk-free trade? How can you put yourself in that position where, yeah, you still have opportunity to make money, but in all actuality, you're not losing money? So let's just set up the context there, because again, I want to keep things not in theory, but a real life example. So here we have Nate. So he's got big muscles, okay? So we'll give him a little ego boost here. But this is Nate, actually IT Nate, since that's what he's known by. And he went and he got himself some Tesla. And at that point, the amount he put into Tesla, we'll change this, was, and this is approximations. Again, we'll put on the screenshots and he'll kind of point to the numbers. But he put in $1,600. And by putting in $1,600 at the time when he bought Tesla stock, that got him 7 shares. So he owned 7 shares of Tesla and he put in $1,600. Now the share price, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter for what I'm trying to get at here, because this is the system, this is a strategy that you need to consider using if you want to, like I said, put yourself in this spot where you can still make money, but technically not be able to lose any money. Now, of course, I get it. Well, Clay, he could have sold it there, and if it goes down there, he lost the opportunity. There's opportunity cost. First off, well done. Good job. You paid attention in economics class. But I'm just talking about can't lose any money regard to this right here. Why? Because this was his original risk going in, right? He was risking $1,600 by putting it into Tesla stock. If you're not aware, and actually we'll put up a Tesla chart right now just in case you're not aware, but Tesla absolutely exploded. And Nate and I were talking, and because he doesn't follow the stock market every single day, and he's like, you know what? I feel like I should probably take some profit. And that's what Nate did. So here's how he went about it. He decided, I want to stay involved in Tesla. I still want to be a shareholder of Tesla. But I mean, is there any way, like any good investor, like any good trader is gonna think, is there any way I can manipulate the risk? Is there any way I can reduce the risk? Is there any way I can mitigate the risk? All that stuff that's not really fun to talk about. I mean, it's fun to talk about winning, right? It's fun to talk about, oh, boom, Tesla that's fun stuff. But the key to success is actually focusing on the risk part of things. So that's what Nate was doing is is there anything I can do to manipulate risk? And at this point, he saw, you know what, there is something I can do. I can sell a few of these shares. Now, how many did he want to sell? Well, his goal was all based around, again, his risk here, meaning, is there a way where I can sell enough shares to cover what I originally put in? Or in other words, can I sell some shares that'll equal $1,600? Because if I can, then that means I put $1,600 back into my pocket, meaning because it's back in my pocket, I can't lose it anymore. But I'll still own some shares. So looking at the screenshot here, you can see that's exactly what he did. And he ultimately sold. And here's the cool thing about his broker. M1 Finance is who he uses for his investment. And the great thing there is that he didn't have to type in the number of shares he wanted to sell, because M1 Finance does partial shares. Meaning they'll do little slivers. So if you wanted to sell, for example, 1.273218 shares of Tesla, M1 Finance can do that. But you don't have to go through the math and figure out, okay, so if I want to put $1,600 in my pocket, I need to sell 1.7852 pi divided by the circumference of the earth. No, nothing like that needed to be done. All he needed to do was tell M1 Finance, hey, you know what? I want to sell $1,600. And then M1 Finance did all the math. And we'll put the screenshot back up here. But you can see as of now, he has 5 shares left. So not to insult your intelligence, but if he had 7 shares and now he has 5 shares less, that means he had to sell 2 shares. 2 shares, well, it was like 2 point something or 1 point something, but point being, he sold a portion of that in order to recoup his cost. And because he sold 2, he no longer owns 7 shares, but he owns 5. So let's go through a recap of that. His risk, not there anymore. Because he sold those 2 shares, that puts $1,600 back into his pocket. It's not possible for him to lose that money anymore as far as this Tesla trade is concerned. Now, if he goes and buys some sort of degenerate penny stock, we won't go down that. But as far as this trade, $1,600 safe. But he still can make money. How? Well, if Tesla keeps on going, that's great. He still has 5 shares left. So it is totally risk-free for Nate, the camera guy, going forward. And that's how you trade risk-free. You should always be looking. If I can do that, can I cover my, in trading lingo, my cost basis? His cost basis at first was $1,600. Is there any way I can do that to help kind of reduce that? And in this situation, because Tesla exploded so much, he was able to only have to sell 2 shares to cover his entire risk and still has 5 shares left in Tesla. That's pretty awesome. And that was a good investment on Nate's part. So that is how you can trade risk-free. Protect money, but also still leave yourself in the spot to make money. And again, that's what we should be trying to do as traders or investing. And this doesn't pertain to just the stock market. I'm talking any market that you are trading, whether it be Forex market or the crypto market or options or futures or all the other markets out there. Always have this sort of thought process in your mind. But as it comes to stocks and using this, I mean, totally possible. Maybe if you want, you can go through your portfolio. Is there any way that you could do this where, again, you don't sell everything, but you sell a portion to cover your original cost basis, and that way it becomes a totally risk-free trade? Might be worth pursuing and checking out, but that is how it's done, and that is how it is 100% possible. If you do have any other questions on this, please leave those down below. Or have you done this before? Let other listeners, I'd love to hear about it. These are the best types of trades. So I love to hear about it. So let me know if you've managed to pull off any of these sorts of scenarios or not, because I think that'll offer up other motivation to other readers of the comments that say, okay, yeah, this is actually viable. This is actually possible. And whenever we can motivate one another, I think that is a good thing. Iron sharpens iron. So like I said, leave those comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. Check out the channel as a whole. Hopefully you decide to ultimately subscribe so you can get updated whenever content like this shows up. But thank you for hanging out, and I'll see you back for the next video. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only 1 losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.